So maybe actually I will just kind of offer a different version, or not a different version, but like an adaptation you could make. I'm going to add another layer to it. So there is a question there about how much of the pie has been eaten, and that is the question. But maybe I'd like us all to think for a minute. What's an answer that you know is too low, and
Mm.
what's an answer that you know is too high, and like that you know is too high. Just to kind of just to start our thinking. So let's take maybe let's still give a little bit of quiet time, not as much as we'll give for the actual estimate, but um, maybe just I don't think about it too much. Maybe I'll give you 10 more seconds. Okay, what's an answer that we know that folks know is too low?
10%.
10%? Okay. Tiffany, what's a number an answer that you know is too low?
Can I say too high? I'm having
Sure.
trouble. I don't know why.
Absolutely.
I'd say you can't say it's most of the pie that's been eaten.
Awesome. Patricia, did you also have it too high?
I would say 25% or more is too high.
25% is too much. Aaron, do you have a too low and a too high?
I
Or
think, yeah, I would say with at least 80% confidence that that 1/8 is too low because it looks wider to me than a pizza slice, which is usually 1/8. Um, and my too high was 1/4, which is like Patricia said, 25%.
okay, cool. So thank you. So I heard 1/8, 10% on the too low end. So it's something larger than 1/8, larger than 10%, if those are correct. And we can't say most. And 25% or a quarter, all of those would be something that would be too high. So it's just within that range. I just before I kind of release you and stop talking, I just want to point out that it's cool that everybody chose a different unit or format to answer that, and that's go with that. If you felt inspired by someone else's, if you stick by your like, go with that. That's great. Okay, I'll be quiet and give you some time to think about how much of that pie has been eaten. Thanks. Sorry, maybe just one more thing. Once you have an answer, if you just give a little thumbs up, you don't have to keep it there. I'm watching. And Tiffany, you can give it in the in that within the reaction.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
just let me know when you're ready to talk about. Okay, cool. So let's talk about it. Um, so I see everybody gave a little thumbs up. So about not a bit little, or little just because that icon was small. A powerful and emphatic thumbs up. But so
Hmm.
about how much of the pie has been eaten? Who wants to kick us off?
Well, started with the cutting it into fours. So that's how I got to, it's less than a quarter.
Mhm.
And then I just sort of imagined putting in these other pieces around. And so that's how I got to a fifth or 20% was
Can
an
you, Patricia,
estimate.
can you tell us a little bit about how you how you thought about the fourths? I'm going to try to annotate to kind of get.
Oh, well, may I annotate?
If you can, yeah, is that yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
If you
here.
can, absolutely, much better. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize you had the
Let
capability.
me do that. Uh, because I this is half, and I'm not the best. This is probably like when I cut a pie. Uh, Now I realize I'm assuming that this is halfway there, and I don't know anymore. But let's say like that. So that's how I got to it's less than a quarter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's actually super. Even though I kind of knew what you meant, that's super helpful to just be able to see that.
sure.
So then from there, how did you? How,
So again, I'm es obviously estimating if I go around here. Of course, I didn't annotate it. I could have asked if we could annotate. That would have helped me figure this out. Ah, trying to move you, line. I don't think I can. Wait a minute. Uh, okay. See, and now when I do it, I'm like, well, I don't know now. But that's how I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hmm.
And so your strategy was to kind of like each of those, you're kind of, it's all estimation. So you're estimating each of those to be about the same size as the missing piece. And so then there's
Right.
there's five of them. Okay,
Exactly. I'm imagining cutting this pie.
cool.
That was my strategy.
Uh, I'm just taking a quick note. Okay. Tiffany, would you like to what did you estimate about how much pie had been eaten?
So I didn't actually come to a conclusion. I just came to the conclusion that was less than a fourth.
Uh-huh.
Because I kind of took the approach that Patricia did, divided it into fours. Um, but I wasn't really sure to where to go from there, to be honest. So I I knew it was less than a fourth.
Uh-huh.
But I really like what Patricia did. I think that made a lot of sense to me after she explained it.
Well, let me ask. So did you, I mean, I know I should have thought about a way to kind of make you allow you guys to do some kind of manipulation of the image, but if you think about it, like, so I'm just curious, Tiffany, like about how much less than, or like about how much more than a quarter? No, sorry, about how much less than a quarter would you estimate it? And you can annotate it, like if that wasn't a question if that wasn't something you thought about, I'm just curious, like about what you'd say.
I really don't know. Um, I really don't know. Yeah, I didn't draw the line there.
I know because you didn't have the advantage, but so
But
now
in my
hopefully
mind,
blues.
I didn't draw it there either.
Oh, then where did you where did you draw it? Or would
Can
you
we?
like to annotate?
I'll try.
Okay.
Um,
If not, just let me know and you can be the brain, I'll be the hand,
I
but if you
can't
can.
see the annotation tool.
It's a little I think in your bar at the bottom, it's like a picture of a pen. On my screen, it's between layout and remote control.
Oh, I see it.
Eh,
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, where'd it go? Oh, I see. Um, well, maybe it did look like yours. Oh, whoa. Not a steady hand there. Um, so it's like here and here.
Uh-huh.
That was more what I was envisioning.
So something close to a quarter, but not that. With missing like without those things included.
Yes.
Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Aaron, did you have an estimate?
Sure. Yeah, I'll annotate too. Let's see. Looks like I'm drawing in orange. So I guess my first thought was that it was a sixth because it just kind of looks like a sixth to me.
Mhm.
And so right there, so I imagined kind of half this way and imagine cutting the remaining piece in half. And then I thought, well, maybe those two pieces that I just cut are a little bit smaller than the piece that's missing. So maybe the missing piece is a little bit bigger than a sixth. And then, when the possibility was introduced that it could be a fifth, I thought, oh, it looks to me like a fifth. So I thank Patricia for introducing that possibility into my mind.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go to the videotape, as they say. Um, so I happen to know that this. Oh, sorry, let me make it big. Don't be distracted by the other days.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm sorry, let me make my screen bigger so you can see it. Okay, everybody ready?
Yep.
Oh,
Wow.
wow, that is not what I was
Wow.
ex let me do that. Let's watch that one more time and then we can look at the still image of it because maybe it's easier to look at.
Wow.
Cool. So let's just to kind of, yeah, that's a little easier to see. So he's using some Microsoft tool. Um, but okay, so
Yeah,
there
I
we go.
am a
So how did we do? How are people feeling about their estimates?
I never estimate correctly, so I'm quite pleased with myself.
Nice. Tiffany, how are you feeling about your estimate?
I feel like it's reflective of who I am. I'm not I'm never an exact person. So I was like, let me keep it at I know it's more than a fourth. But I see I'm appreciative of the way that Patricia explained it.
I would say, first of all, if you feel like you're not an exact person, estimation is your greatest friend because that's we're not looking for exact answers. I mean, but what I guess let me be more clear about what I said. How do you feel about your answer given the actual answer? Because I mean, you said it's a
Yeah, I
little bit
feel
less
okay.
than, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and Aaron, how are you feeling about
Yeah,
your guess?
feel good
You were
about it.
thinking it's six, but then Patricia convinced you that maybe it's
Yeah,
was a
my
fifth.
first thought was
Mhm,
just from looking at it, my first thought was that it was a sixth, but
mhm,
partly because I think I wouldn't think of cutting a slice of pie that was a fifth. Like I would
Mm.
think about cutting into sixths or eighths if I was cutting a pie.
who in their right mind would except here we go. It's a photograph, so someone actually did it. One thing I think is cool, and then I'm looking at time, so I do want to shift into our teaching. But I do like so I'm gonna say this half in the learner and half in the teacher, but like it's cool that we've been talking about I guess when we talked about our guesses that were things that we knew were too low or too high, percents did come out, but we've been talking a lot about like when we did the actual estimating we were talking about it in terms of fractions or quarters. I mean, we didn't like, but just to say that this is written as in degrees and percents, and so that's were this an actual classroom, that would be a really cool thing that we could talk about, or that I might amend because maybe I didn't want to talk about these things. But just that's a teaching decision.